this video, this is video 4 of our 55 video series for beginners for woodworking, carpentry and joinery. We're going to cut an enclosed recess. So we did the open recess, we're going to do an enclosed recess, and you would typically do this for catches or pieces of metal that might go in. That's a bit small, but it has to be enclosed in the timber. Now it's a beginner's cut, so you'll be practicing on a piece of scrap, and this is how my students will be doing it and learning to do that first, and then we'll get going on site. And when I do get out on site next, hopefully this week, I'll record that as well, and you'll see what the difference is between learning it here in the workshop as opposed to actually doing it on site. But for now, to practice the lesson 4, an enclosed recess, and building upon the tools that we have already got, let's get going on it and we'll do this one. Now this video is going to be a little different because I'm actually going to put the camera on a gadget on my head, and you'll have a proper carpenter's point of view. So we're going to see what that looks like, and that's looking forward to get some feedback on that one. So let us know in the comments, and if it's good, we'll do it again. Okay, let's get cutting. In the last video we did an open recess, and that was useful for hinges, but it is used elsewhere as well, but in particular with hinges. And it was about learning how to use the combination marking gauge as a new tool, and we're going to use this again in this next video. So in this one we're going to actually do an enclosed recess. So this is video 4 of our 55 series. Now with this one, this could be very useful if you're actually fitting locks or catches, and we're going to take the combination marking gauge again and set this up. Now I'm going to try and get this video from the carpenter's point of view, a real point of view, and see what it's like. So this is pure experimentation. Let's see how it goes. If I want to measure this, we're going to take it on a 32mm recess, and we're going to set the recess in off the edge. So let's mark up our facing edge on this one, on the other side. Let's do it on this timber. I'll run it up here as well. So we already have a facing edge on this one. We're going to run a facing edge over here. We're going to run a facing edge on this one too. And we're going to set this in, I believe 15mm. See if that will work. So I'll leave 5, that'll be 10, 20, 32. So I want that to go in 8. So we're going to go in 8mm in here. Now I can set this up so that my gap between these two pins is going to be 38. So that's a lot of opening up on those two pins. What I do is I open up a ruler on the edge of the bench. I'll flip that over. And I know this distance here is 5, but I want this first one to be 32mm opening. So let's open that up. I prefer these combination marking gauges that have the nut for the second pin down the end. When they're up here, they're a bit awkward. This is quite a useful one. So 10, 20, 32mm. Good, that's 32. Not 32 and a third, but 32 to go to there, and I want it in 8mm. So now I'll measure this one in 5, 8, there. That's gone in 8mm. Let me get my pencil. So if you can see that, it'd be good to clamp this down. And get a quick clamp and do that. That's our 5mm, 6, 7, 8. And from that one, we went 32. If I want to check that that's a 32, I'll just put it on there. So that's the correct measurement. Tighten that up. Let's mark this up in the vise. And we'll run it about 70mm long. So let's mark up a distance of 70 between here and here. Let's square those over. Now where this would be quite useful is on doors. Again, I fit a lot of doors, and it'd be useful on the doors, the latches and catches on that. Now, that's it. So when we're looking at this one, because I didn't leave much timber there, if I push that into the end, that's where it's going to stop. So I'm putting 2 dents into the end so that when I then run that up here, it'll drop into those 2 points and it stops. So I didn't go beyond my line. Get your pencil line in there. I'll do it in pen in a moment. Off the edge. Now I've marked it up in the vise, and that's step 1. So that's marking out. And this is our waist. That's going. Let me write the measurements on it so you know it. So I said that was 8 mil. And this one was 32 mil. That distance there. Okay, so this is coming out. Now how deep are we going to go on this one? Let's knock this down 5 mil. So I'll write here 5 mil deep. Now this is a little less than 5 mil. So some of the brackets are often less, but if we practice on 5, that's fine. So it's practice. Now I'm not going to cut it in the bench vise. I'm actually going to clamp it, and I want to cut it on here. So I can turn it upside down. I can get a clamp and we can secure it. If we were very precious about this timber, we would put a sacrificial piece of timber in here so we don't dent the timber, but I'm not too pushed about that really. Ruler. Edit some of this bit out, but I'm just curious to see if this will work. If this is a good point of view, let's see. Otherwise we'll do it again. That chisel needs a bit of work, but I'm choosing a 26 mil wide chisel. I'm not going to go with a 32 mil chisel or a 30 mil. I could go with a 30 mil chisel, but I want to leave it a little gap either side so that I can clean that up afterwards. Now to do this, I'll start 5 mil in from my baseline towards me. I'm going to go turning this and start that end with the back 5 mil away from that line, and I'm going to come down the middle. Couple of taps, walk it and tilt that over. So we're square here, but this angle is going to be slightly up. Walk it down. Now we're aiming for approximately 5 mil, and that'll be plus or minus 1 mil. Got a little tolerance on it. You're aiming to be on the depth or slightly short. If you go too far, we can't add it back in. If you cut less, we can cut it again. That's safer. Run the mallet on that. Now with that done, we want to clean out our edges. Now, if this was a fine door, we've already cut our edges here with the combination marking gauge, so it's given us a little line. And when we come along with the chisel, if we tap in here, we got to be very, very careful because it's along the grain here. If we hit this too hard and this is fragile, this will split beyond where we want it to go. So I'm going to take that on this line a little closer here and closer to one edge to avoid it splitting up there. I'll cut the fibers before we cut the edge. On this end as well. Then we'll take that in a little on our line. See, it's kicking back. We don't want it to kick back that far, so we want to keep it in the line. So keep it about 2 mil off it. Just want to get a bit of a split down there. That'll do me. This one can't be rushed. You see how the bevel gets pushes the blade back. And I purposely did this to leave this little sliver here. We're going to aim to leave that in. Let's run down here again. Taking our time. It's better to take a little time now than mess it right up and have to get new timber and more cost. So it can't be rushed. Bet my students like hearing that. Don't rush it. They all want to get out early. On this side, a few little taps, break it out. The bottom of this, we're not looking to get a flat finish at the bottom, because it's going to get covered by something. Not going to see it. We'll get it better than this in a moment. So with this, I've got it clamped in there. I want to clean that one out a little, up to my line without going over it. Curious to see how this looks afterwards. It's the first time I've ever done this with one of these head cams on. It definitely highlights how a good sharp chisel is so useful. Always keep your chisels sharp. And I'm working this direction. I'm going to turn the timber around in a moment to take it the other direction. Instead of me walking around the bench, it's safer if I take it here. Now let's see how deep that is. Here's a tip for you. You don't need an expensive depth gauge. Your combination square will do it. Put it in there, drop that down, and that will read for us in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost there. Oh, it makes a difference. It's sharper. You gotta control this. I don't want that slipping up there and busting that out. Now that we're close to this little edge, let's take out half of that. And that one. Closer. Check our depth. Four. Good. I said 5, so we can go a little more on that. Not much. I'm doing it by hand. I'm not putting the mallet on this. I don't want to knock it right out. And what a difference it makes. A better chisel. As I said, it's not fine furniture. Just want to show you the system, really. So the point of this was to understand the system of how to cut this as part of the lessons on your path to learning from the very basics and building up. Now typically this is for a level 1 carpentry and joinery, and this will help an awful lot with that. So it's really to get a piece of scrap timber before you think you can go straight out and start cutting on the actual timber. Do it on a bit of scrap first and get the system right. Okay, I'm quite pleased with that. And if we get a close look at that, we're quite close to our edge here. There's only a few mil left. We stuck with the 8. We used our combination marking gauge, and I'm quite pleased with that, because what it's given us is 2 nice parallel lines to that edge. And that's easier to do with a tool like this, a marking out tool like this. That's the importance of it. At the bottom, we're not bothered that this is all perfectly flat, because usually it's to house a bit of metal, something else that goes in there. So that's fine. And summarize, we also check the depth. Get down. Get a good look at that. That's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in there. If we wanted to take a little more out, you could, but that'll be acceptable. Nice straight lines, and you can see the lines left over, so it's definitely gone on the waist side of the line. So after we've cut, the first 4 lessons I would teach are about using chisels. Now, they would have been sharpened by a technician or myself or someone, and you then understand the importance of having a sharp chisel. So next, we're going to, I've got one down there, we're going to use a grinder. Now, the thing with the grinder is, when you're learning this, you wouldn't be expected to have one of these, but you need to understand the terminology and the purpose of it, and then someone else can do it. But if you have got to do this yourself, we show you ways of doing it by hand. It takes a lot longer, but if you have a machine, it's best. And normally it's done by machine. Anyway, that is for the next video, so I'll save that for next. So hopefully see you in the next one.